And I just, so you know, I just record all the way through. So if you say something and you need me to edit it out, just let me know and I'll, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So okay, so welcome to this episode of Trauma Rockstars. I wanted to introduce the world to Erin Snow. She is the founder of Seacoast Listening Lounge, which we are going to talk extensively about that as we get further in our discussion with her. And we're going to kind of talk about her own trauma history as well, that and everything that she brings now professionally, trying to help others and how we all have gotten motivated to help other people and inspired. And I don't know about you, but I get so inspired by everybody's stories, and it's so healing for me. So I want to welcome you, Erin, to Trauma Rockstars. Thank you so much for this. Has been a couple months in the making getting you on here, and I'm so excited to finally have you. So welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, Tracy.
did you want to start back in the early, with your life? And I know some things happened when you were 9 and,
Yeah.
and stuff and kind of lead up to how you're the Erin you are today.
Yeah. So I grew up in Maine, a city in Maine, if you can really call it that. But, small town living, pretty normal childhood. I have an older sister, younger brother, so I'm right in the middle. My parents are amazing. But yeah, something happened to me when I was 9 years old. I was doing the things that 9-year-olds were doing, playing sports, hanging out with friends, going to sleepovers, playing Mall Madness. That probably dates me. But yeah, I was doing the normal, typical things that 9-year-old girls will do. And I was at a sleepover with a friend, one of my friends, and I was woken up from the sleepover by my friend's father, and he was sexually abusing me. And that really changed the trajectory of my life. Particularly that, the action, obviously, in the incident, but what happened afterwards, like
Mhm.
immediately as afterwards, as it was happening, was he held up a finger to his lips, like the shh sign, like that. And that right there just signaled to me, you need to be quiet. You don't have a voice. You need to be quiet.
Yeah.
Don't tell, don't speak, don't talk. And that action just changed something in me. Like I was a singer. I thought I was going to be on Broadway. I was all of those things, and I stayed involved in those activities. But just this idea of I really need to I felt like I was on my own. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. This was a bad thing. I didn't really know what was happening. I was 9 years old, right? Um, but always kind of keeping things in, so that I didn't have a way to process what happened to me because
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't talk about it. And so, going through high school and starting dating relationships and not understanding that I had a voice in those relationships,
Mhm.
even into adulthood. And so I feel like I was trying to find ways to have a voice as I was getting older. Um, I was very involved in theater. I went to school for theater. As soon as I graduated college, I started working in a law firm. Um, and I it was a corporate law firm, and that wasn't for me. And
Mhm.
so I ended up working at the Rhode Island Attorney General's office, and I started working with victims and for victims and finding justice, and there was accountability. And I was like, okay, this makes sense to me.
Weren't you
And
the director of the domestic violence project in your area at that
yeah,
time?
so first I was in Rhode Island, then I went to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I started as a paralegal in the domestic violence project. And then I became the director, which was a big deal for a paralegal to direct a legal project.
Yeah.
And I spent nearly 17 years there working with victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking in their for victims and survivors in their protective orders and in their divorce and parenting cases. And what I heard over and over again was, Erin, nobody's listening to me. I'm telling my story and nobody's listening to me. And I'm like, that makes so much sense to me. Like
Did you did you tell anybody right after that happened?
I did in terms of what I said exactly. I don't remember the exact words I used as a 9-year-old,
Right.
but I feel like I remember telling a friend in hopes that they would tell somebody. Um, I I'm I'm sure I had conversation or a conversation with my parents. But again, like it was the early 90s. It's kind of like, okay, we're going to stay away from that person and we're not going to, I don't know what words I used at that age, but I knew I've been very clear on what happened to me and the details of that. But
Yeah.
again, how do you express that to somebody when
And
you're a
you're
kid?
scared.
And you're
Yeah.
scared, and they're in your neighborhood and it's a small town, and
Yeah.
very clearly I'm like, don't say anything. What's going to
Do
happen if
you,
you say something?
when did okay, a couple questions because
Yeah.
I know this is gonna a lot of people, sexual assault is so many people don't speak up. And
Mhm.
did first question is, did you have to see that man again?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
So this man is
And is he's intimidating you? He's not only sexually assaulting you, that's an intimidation
yeah,
tactic
absolutely.
because he's a
Right,
predator.
right. Well, and the creepy crazy thing is, I mean, it's all creepy, but the next morning, like woke up and he made me pancakes. Like
Yeah.
handed me a plate of pancakes.
Like nothing
Like nothing
happened.
happened. And I and he picked somebody at the right age. Like if had I been older, there's more chance that
Mhm.
they're going to say something because they understand what's happening to them. I wasn't one of his kids. So like I fit the right mold.
Did
Um,
your friend know? Like, did your friend know that
I
this
did
happened?
not, I don't recall telling, so
Yeah.
he had 3 daughters, has 3 daughters. And I
Mm,
don't remember I telling them. I didn't see them again after that. I saw them around the town.
yeah.
But yeah, he was like the girls' basketball coach, the girls' softball coach,
Ugh.
like in the like he's around, a member of the
Yeah.
community, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, that was really hard and not knowing what to do about it and what to say about it. But I am fortunate in that Maine does not have a statute of limitations.
Oh, see, my state where mine happened does, and
Yeah.
it's been way long gone for a
Yeah.
long time.
So I started telling my story about a year ago, and after what, 30 something years of holding
Yeah.
on to this and not being able to express it and not wanting my job to be about what happened to me, wanting to be good at my job because I was good at my job. But also realizing that I was really good at my job because I was able to connect with my clients on
You
a
bring
level.
a layer
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
understand. Yeah.
Exactly. And so a year, into starting this business and feeling so empowered and like it's time to tell my story, I picked up the phone and I made a police report. And I said, I don't know what you're going to do with this. And but I need you to tell you what happened, and it's in your hands now. This is not in my hands anymore. I I've said it out loud. I'm making a report. It's on you. So,
Yep. So
but
what ended up happening?
it's still pending.
Did they ever arrest him
It
or?
it's still under review. Yeah. I mean, this is very recent. Uh
Yeah.
and of course, like all the things that are, that police and prosecutors, because I've been in that world, they're like, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. I'm like, you know what, just in terms of like what the investigation is, and everything that you say will be collected and used to like change or attack my credibility. Like, did I change my
Yeah.
story and all these podcasts that I'm done and like whatever, it I'm not going to shut up and I'm not going to change my story. My story is my story. It's always been
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
same.
Let the chips fall where they may.
And,
But you're,
I can't, there's no guarantee that anything is going to happen. And it could take years,
did
you know?
did your girlfriend, who was the daughter of him, did they ever reach out to you after you filed the police report?
No,
And you don't
no,
know if anybody else has come forward.
I don't know.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
hold on, Aaron. I just gotta turn the light on.
Yeah.
It's getting, oh, the sun's going down. Okay. I mean, well, again, you need to do what you need to do and you need to file, what you need to file and like let things shake out the way they will and, be you and you know your truth. So,
Right. And
did
no one
you
can change that.
feel after you filed that a year, within this past year, did you feel any weight off or did it add more weight to you?
No, I felt relief. So I have been since this happened to me. There's very few times where it's not something that I've thought about like on a regular basis,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I've always gone back and forth. Do I say something? Don't I say something? Do I make a report? Don't I make a report? What's going to happen if I do? Like, what's this going to mean for my family? Like, I have my own family. What's it going to mean for my
Mhm.
parents and my siblings? Like the town that I grew up in? Like what? All of those things went on in my head constantly. And it was recently that I was like, am I going to have regrets? And I'm like, he's older, right? He's in his 70s.
He's
Like,
an old man now.
what if
Yeah.
he dies? What if he dies and I didn't do it? And I didn't make the report? Am I going to regret that? Because
Hmm.
then I really have it. I can't say anything, like nothing. I can say it, but nothing's going to happen. And, so I didn't want to live with that feeling anymore.
Right.
And that back and forth, and just this indecision, this constant indecision that I felt like I was living with. And so that for me has gone away. And the weight of not being the one that has to make the decision anymore going forward. Like
Hmm.
I said it, you have the information. It's yours to do with what, they're like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, I've said my piece, I've made my report. What happens next is really for the criminal justice system to decide.
Yeah.
But this weight of not having to go back and forth and wrestle with am I going to or am I not has
Hmm.
been like such a relief, honestly.
Well, I was going to ask you two questions. How is your support system, your internal core support system with all this, and where are you at now in your journey now that this is a big deal that you just did this after all these years. So, and what tools are you using to stay sane? You know?
Yeah, no, I have a great support system. My family's fantastic, super supportive, whatever you need.
Yeah.
So that's great. But a lot of it, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, I just have so much more space. I didn't
Mm,
realize after, decades how much space was taken up by something that felt so unresolved. And
yeah.
regardless of the outcome, regardless of what happens next in the criminal process,
Hmm.
I have resolution. Like
Yeah.
it's it's not our secret anymore.
You're at peace with where you're
Yeah.
at with it,
Yeah, it's
whatever
not.
happens.
Yeah, I share nothing with this person. Like we shared a secret and it's not a secret anymore. And I
Right.
don't care who knows it. Like it's not a
Yeah.
secret. And what happened to me? Yes, I think would I be an entirely different person if that hadn't happened to me? Sure, probably. A lot of, trauma responses probably wouldn't have happened. Probably would have been um handled relationships differently, would not have allowed people to treat me sexually, I would have handled that differently. I
Yeah,
would
of
have had,
course.
yeah, like, in my teenage years,
Right.
boys wanting to have sex. And I was like uncomfortable, but not knowing how to say I was uncomfortable. And then the time that I did being told, you're not allowed to say that. It's like that was constant messaging.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like if I had had the tools, I would have handled those things differently. If this hadn't happened to me, probably would have handled those situations differently, but it did. But it's also made me who I am. It, for almost 17 years, like the honor that I had to work with other victims and survivors
Yeah.
to help them on their journey, like I would not have been as good at my job if
Hmm.
if the circumstances had been different, if my path had been different. I
I
wouldn't have
believe
started
that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't have started this business
Right.
if that hadn't happened to me. So there has to be something good that comes out of something so
Yes.
horrific.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let me, for people that might be listening who maybe where they live, there's no statute of limitation, or maybe they haven't spoke up. And when you first decided, made the decision to go and file a police report, were you terrified? And after when you left, like, how did you feel? Was it liberating? Were you like, did I do the right thing? Because I'm sure a lot of people are in your situation, like me, I can't do anything about it because that statute of limitation is long
Mhm.
gone. So I need to just kind of let the karma and the universe handle things the
Yeah.
way it
Yeah.
sees fit.
Yeah.
And I'm at peace at that. I'm at peace with that. But
Mm.
for you, like, how were you feeling like that, even up to that day and that day that you finally went and did that? Because that's
Yeah.
like huge. That's like, holy crap, like bravery.
Yeah, thank you. So I didn't have to go there. I don't know what in that moment I pulled over into a parking lot and I grabbed my cell phone and I was like, I'm making this call. This call is happening today. It's happening right now. And I was very fortunate that I had an officer on the other end of the phone. First, I think I left a message, and then an officer called me back. I was still in my car sitting there. I was like, well, I don't want to go home because I don't want everybody to hear this. I need to just be in a
Yeah,
quiet space by myself. And I was still sitting there, and the sergeant called me back like
right
that
away.
right away. And he was kind and he was
Hmm.
empathetic. And I know because I, again, have worked in this space for a really long time, I know the spectrum that victims get when they make a report.
Hmm.
Like they're either not, I mean, there's the you know, I'm here for you, you're not alone, and just having so much empathy and compassion to the, I don't know why you're making this police report, especially in my case, why are you making this 30 years later? Like, what do you expect me to
Yeah,
do about this? And the not believing. Like there's always that fear that you're not going to be believed or that it's going to come back on you, like you asked for it and you are the problem.
yeah.
I didn't have any of that. So I thankfully had the response that like best practice response.
Mm,
Like may not have even had all the like right words and lingo, and that's okay. But I knew walking into it, you're going to get this or you're going to get this. And I
hmm.
was fortunate that I got this because I know all too well if you get a different response, victims are going to walk away and they're going to be like,
Well,
that's horrible. And I'm not doing that.
and yeah, and being that you got this vast amount of experience working in this field on top of your own story, what message do you tell to women and men out there who have been that are thinking like I should tell somebody about this because it is so scary and so like it's a ridiculous number how much sexual assault does not get reported.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's a shame and it shouldn't happen. So from like switching gears from a survivor to advocate now and professional in the field, what do you tell people that are listening?
I would say it's all very personal. No one can tell you what the right answer is except for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you are, that being said, I would encourage people to find the right people to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
So support groups, crisis centers,
Yeah.
even a really trusted friend. This service, a service like this, anyone that you
Mm-hmm.
feel safe with and
Mm-hmm.
that you trust, and share it in a way that feels safe and comfortable for you. But no one's going to be able to say you should do this. You
Yeah.
should report it. You should, like, even if people said that to me, I mean, people are like, I hear it all the time. Well, why didn't you go to the police? Why didn't you go to the police? There are so many reasons why people don't want to do that. And that needs to be respected. And so I would just, two things to people who have gone through this, have been abused, have been sexually assaulted. It is your timeline and your timeline only. And you
Mm-hmm.
get to decide what feels right for you and when you want
Mm-hmm.
to do it, if you want to do it. And then if you're a person who somebody is sharing this very personal information with you, just listen to them. Please just listen to them. Don't say you should do this. Don't shame them. Even I know a lot of times it's unintentional, but
Yeah. You're like, well,
it
yeah, it
happens.
is.
You
Yeah.
try to fix it and you're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
let's go to the police. We're going to go to the police right now. That may not be what they want. That may not be what they need. Just say, I'm sorry that happened to you. What do you need? How can I help? And let them drive what happens next. Don't take over, even though the inclination is going to be like, I want to help this person. I love them. I want to fix it. I want to take care of it. Don't be the driver. Let them drive and tell you what they need, but offer it.
You
Just say, I'm
know,
here for you.
yeah, I love that you're saying that. I'm just going to add a little layer to it and put a little twist on it, and I want your opinion
Mhm.
because I think yes, 100%. It's your journey. You be you. You do what you feel is right in your heart. Um, and a lot of it's, fear driven. Like for me, for instance, the only like I told you, I'm at peace. I'm just going to let the universe handle things the way they're supposed to handle them. But my only but is if there were other people that I could have avoided this happening to.
Mhm.
That's the only, I guess, regret I would say for me personally, because if I found out that there were other, people out there that this happened, you know, that I could have avoided that from happening. That's the only thought that I have on that. But legally, there's still nothing I can do at this point. Back
Yeah.
then, if I had come forward, it would have been different. So, I just kind of had to find a way internally to be at peace with that and hope
Mhm.
that me not coming forward didn't cause any hurt or harm to other people.
Yeah.
Um,
So this
but it's
this
kind of the way things are, it's what can I do about it at this point?
I I grappled with that as well. And this is what I came up with because I was like, people have asked me, well, were there other victims? Did he do this to other people?
Yeah,
He
I
was
mean,
like
how,
had
yeah,
like he has three kids and he was had access to all of these other kids as a coach. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't say anything. If I had like been like had more of a voice about it, if I had been more persistent, if I had found better words, I was really blaming myself. And then I was like, you know what? I am not the person doing the action. The only
yeah.
person that should be feeling like that has any guilt around this is the person doing the bad things, doing the hurtful things. Like, I don't have control over that. That's not on me. I should not carry the burden of the guilt of the person doing those bad things.
That's a
Uh,
really good point.
yeah.
Yes, because you've been through enough. Like it's not on you anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And I think that's So if somebody is like, don't take that guilt on. Like,
Yeah,
it's not you. It is the person, like, that person is the one doing the actions, and that person is the one that should be held accountable, not the person that those actions happen to, not the abuse
right.
that happened to that person. Like, that's not
Yeah.
on you. It's not on you.
Well, let's talk about Seacoast Listening Room
Yeah.
because I love this. And tell me like about its inception. And
Yeah. So I was doing the work,
yeah.
working with victims and survivors, as I said. And again, they were saying nobody's listening to me. Again, that resonated with me on a personal level. And so I thought, okay, what can I do? What else can I do? I had really gone as far as I could go. I was as a paralegal, I was directing a legal project. I was the first paralegal in New Hampshire to represent my own clients in court thanks to a new law. So
Oh, wow.
I was doing all of those things and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm at this point where I'm like, what is next? I want to keep doing this work. This work, I have passion for this work. But I also felt like I was butting up against systems where things
Mhm.
weren't, change wasn't happening. And that was frustrating. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to start this business where something that I didn't have. I had gone through a divorce, didn't talk to anyone. Bad things happened to me as a kid. I didn't talk to,
Yeah.
I didn't say what I needed to say or couldn't
Yeah.
say. Not what
As
I
many
couldn't
people.
say.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
just
I couldn't say.
suppress it.
So I started this business. I was like, I'm going to listen to women. It's not going to be therapy. It's not coaching. It is literally a safe and confidential space where you come in. This is my office. Come in online or in my office, and
Yeah.
you just get to say your truth, whatever that is, whether you're having a bad day, whether you're going through a divorce, whether you've been assaulted, or you're caring for your parents who are getting older, whatever it may be. There's so much as women that we carry around on a
Yeah.
daily basis, and this is your space to put it down and just be like, oh my gosh, I said that out loud and it feels amazing. Like that relief of just saying it out loud. And that's all you have to do. You say it
Yeah.
out loud. There's no judgment, there's no advice unless you ask me for it. It's just an opportunity to be heard and to hear yourself say things that you may have never said out loud,
Yeah.
and just the realization of what that feels like someone on the other end genuinely cares about what you have to say and wants to listen and
Mhm.
wants you to know that you're not alone, that there
Yeah.
is someone out there that is
Yep.
neutral, doesn't have any skin in the game, and just cares. That's
Yeah.
that's what it is.
That's why I started the podcast. It's just another layer to the support. And when you, I mean, I think that's great that you mentioned virtual because
Mhm,
people can reach you. I know you've got the website and, can reach out to you. And I will include all that,
mhm.
when this airs. So, people can get in touch with you and everything. Do you find, and I know I can just speak for myself, I think I said this, that talking with each other and hearing other people's stories is just so inspiring to me and being able to talk about it. And it's a huge release and it's so healing. Like, I
Mm.
think, like, I think that's the biggest thing I want people to know. Like, not talking about it is like a cancer.
Yep. Yes.
Talking about
Yes.
it, no matter who it is, whether it's on a podcast or meeting with you privately, confidentially, it's so healing to be able to just get it out. And I know for me, like I'm inspired by every single one of the guests that I've had on. I'm like, gosh, they are just badasses. And with the women that you see, What do you think some of the biggest challenges are? Do you think it's mostly because they just didn't feel like they had anybody they could talk about? Is it fear-based? Is it a combination of things?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things, but I will say a lot of it is feeling like they don't have permission to say
Mm,
whatever it is that they have to say. Like it isn't that big of a deal, or um I just need to be fine with this. And it happened such a long time ago, or, in
yeah.
comparison, so there's a lot of that. Like, I don't feel like I have permission to say these things, which again, I understand that. But then on top of it, it's also I don't know how this is going to be received. Like,
Mm,
great, people are like, well, can't you just talk to your friends? Why do you need to go to a listening service? Well,
well,
sure, friends are great, and it's not to replace friendships. But like, I didn't tell my friends things because I knew that what the reaction would be, even
yeah.
if it came from a good place.
Same. Yep.
Like I I knew what the reaction was going to be, and I was like, I don't want that. I do not want that. And so I know that my clients are going through similar thing. They're like, you know, I had somebody who was scammed. And they were like, I don't want to tell my friends because they're going to think that, like, how are you that stupid that you didn't like get that this was a scam? And I'm like, oh, that's, again, well intentioned, but that's what's preventing us from having these conversations because we don't want that reaction. It shuts us down. We feel
Yes.
badly. And again, the other piece is like, I don't want to be fixed. I don't want the solution. I just want to talk about it
Hmm.
and be okay with those feelings, not like what's the immediate next step. And that's
Right.
what we go to so often. How can I fix this? How can I make it better for you? And that's just not, maybe down the road, that's what we need and want from our
Hmm.
people. But a lot of times it's just, I just need you to hear me.
Yeah, I never told anybody, about what happened with me with the sexual assault part. And it's funny because when I first aired the podcast, I knew, like, obviously my whole life is going to be out there in the world. And I had two of my dearest friends that we've literally known each other our entire lives since we were babies. We've known each other that long before the podcast aired. I scheduled like a group call with them because I'm like, I need to tell you guys something because you're gonna find out about it through the podcast. But I wanted to, and I hadn't told them be prior because it's not about like that I didn't trust them or anything. It's just, I just don't feel like I knew how to. And it wasn't that I wasn't ready for their reaction or prepared for their reaction. I kind of needed like you to talk to a stranger,
Hmm.
talk to somebody that I had no history with and get through it on my own, and then that would give me the right words to tell my friends about this. And so I that's what exactly what I did. And I scheduled, we did a FaceTime, and I'm like, I just want you guys to know this because it's gonna, be the entire world. And I know people are gonna probably call you and say, did you know about this? So I
Hmm.
want you to be prepared in case,
Hmm.
mutual people we know. And they were so supportive, but I think I wouldn't have explained it to them the way I did if I hadn't gotten that help prior. And that
Hmm.
was with my therapist, if
Hmm.
I had, and
Hmm.
talking about it with my boyfriend, and and stuff like that. So I think that's a really good step, and it kind of prepares you for when when and if you do want to share it with loved ones,
Right.
then you have the tools. You've already talked about it enough where you're comfortable. Now I'm like, the more I talk, I mean, I'll talk about it forever. If you, now I could care less. I'm so
Yeah.
used to talking about it. But it's almost like practice makes perfect.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And
I
it's
yeah.
so freeing. It's so
Hmm.
freeing.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's kind of like a test environment in some ways. Like
Yes. I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. It's because you get to try it out here before, like it could be anything. It could be like maybe
Yes.
you got a diagnosis and you're like, I don't know how to say this to everybody, and I don't want this to be the first time it comes out. So you're like, let me just test it in this environment. And I'm like, okay, I'm settled in how I feel about this. I've said it,
Yes.
I've heard it said out loud. Now I'm prepared to go tell everybody else who are going to be full of emotions. And it's really hard when you've got your emotions and then you're also trying to navigate
Yes.
everybody else's emotions.
Yes. It's like
So
a dress rehearsal.
yes, exactly.
I
Perfect.
love that. And I just feel, and I think too, hearing yourself talk about it, it teaches you like for me, I don't want to speak for other people because I can only tell you, but hearing yourself talk about it and how you talk about it and paying attention to what's going on in your body while you're talking about it with your, because it's so, trauma is so like, it's totally screws up your nervous system, you
Hmm.
know? And so, like, just paying attention about it. Like, now when I talk about it, I'm like, I'm totally relaxed. I'm not tense. I'm not like cringing, I'm not tightening up anywhere now, but it gives you, the more you talk about it, the more relaxed
Yeah.
you are. And you don't ever have to tell anybody, but you're providing with the, listening room, you're providing an area where people can, talk about it like they've never and say things they probably would never say to anybody else and scream in your pillow, do whatever you need to do, just get that release and then you'll get the answers. You'll get the answers you need. If you want to tell people about it, if you don't, if you want to press charges, if you don't, if you want to talk to an attorney, if you don't, the answers will come.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is the entire premise of this space. Um, and I've seen that transformation in my clients, which is incredible, really. And I just wish that I had
Yeah.
something like this.
So.
At different points in my life, I'm like, wow, I could have really used that. Could have really used that.
Totally. And that's another thing too. Like I want to tell people talking about it, like whatever is going on with you, it affects decisions that we've made up to this point in our lives. So that's one thing like people need to understand. Like you were saying, like decisions you made, well, when you were a teenager and
Mhm.
decisions I made, partners I had, people like I would let in my life that, I shouldn't have, things like
Yep.
that. And you learn so much about yourself and how things like this affect you. It's so like liberating
Hmm.
because I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, well, that explains a lot, you know? And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, that explains why I did this and this and this, and it really isn't. It's just for that alone is worth it. You don't ever have to share it with the world. But
Right.
to have
Right.
a space like you're providing for people to get it's like freedom,
Hmm.
you
Yes,
know?
exactly. That's a perfect word for it.
Do you feel so I know you can go and you fill out a form, right? You go onto your link and to
Yeah. So it's not, there's really, I don't take any notes.
yeah,
That's intentional. There's no like lengthy intake form. I only know what you tell me and you can
right.
tell me as little or as much as you want. But yeah, it's really easy. It's just like basic information just to book an appointment, like your name and your contact information. And then you can book an appointment. And I do a 10-minute free consult for
Mm-hmm.
anyone, and that's also all booked through my website. For anyone who's just like, hey, this sounds cool, not sure if it's for me, just try it. And I do like a mini listening session in those 10 minutes. Like, and how did that feel? And if you're like, that's amazing, great. Let's do a full session.
Yeah,
Um,
because you want to make sure there's a connection.
yeah,
And you guys
absolutely.
resonate with each other
Right,
and that comfort level is there. And
right.
so that's great that you do, because I mean, you can do a lot in 10 minutes. I mean, look how
Yeah,
much we
right,
talked about, and
right.
even in our first 10
Exactly.
minutes. So.
Yeah, and I think it gives a good indication. When I first started doing these consults, I was like, let me tell you all about my background and let me tell you all. And I was like, okay, great. You want to know and trust the person that you're talking to, but you also want to know, is this something that's going to work for me? Is this
Yeah.
is this what I'm looking for? And so I pivoted to going, all right, let me just listen to you for 10 minutes and then check in. How did that feel? And it's not a service for everybody. And for me, I'm really good. I'm trained in issue spotting. I'm trained in trauma-informed advocacy. So if
Yeah.
somebody is in crisis, first of all, not the space for them.
Right.
Like you need somebody who
You're
like
not
you need,
ready. You're not there yet. You need
yeah,
a
you
crisis
need
hotline.
right, exactly, or a therapist or
Yeah.
and if we're talking about mental health issues that are really
Mhm.
impacting your life, also not the service for you. Like I've got therapists that I'm connected with because, it's great to work with therapists, and I'm so um, grateful that the therapeutic community has been supportive of this concept because they have people that they're like, okay, I need to make room for people who really need my services, but here's somebody that you can still talk to. And I can go, hey, it sounds like you really need a mental health counselor, a therapist, a
Mhm.
psychologist. Let me connect you to those people that I know and trust. So it
Yes.
works so well because there are things that are going to be in my lane and things that are going to be in their lane. And
Right.
having the ability to identify that and then quickly say, all right, let me refer you.
Well,
Um,
and you got so much experience in this platform that you'll know the right questions to ask, or you'll be able to even just tell by the way they're talking and
Mhm.
that to guide them. Like, I don't think that you're ready for this yet. I think you really need some more professional help. Um, which is a good thing. Like, I
Yeah,
don't want people,
absolutely.
telling people, oh, well, you need professional help. You might need, that's not a negative.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the right person to help you, but I have somebody who I think would be perfect. Here's their
Yeah.
name and number. And like doing that kind of like warm handoff
Yes.
rather than you're like, I'm just calling into the abyss and I have no idea what I'm getting.
Right,
Like
right.
that's also too. I mean, people are sharing pretty heavy things with me sometimes. Sometimes it's like they're like, this isn't a big deal, but they just want to talk to somebody about it. Like maybe it's something that's really annoying for them.
Hmm.
Whatever it might be, I don't care what it is, but
Yeah.
just, so that they feel like they are able to check with me and go, all right, this is something that I'm going to be telling this person and I need to trust them. That's why I
Hmm.
do the consults. You've got to feel good about it. Uh,
Yeah, a
and I
hundred
think that,
percent.
yeah. And I think that's just hugely important because, yeah, like I said, people are sharing like intimate, private, emotional
Hmm.
things with me. And
Hmm.
I respect that and I take that very seriously.
Well, and I think too, with like I keep saying, with your experience, I mean, when you ran this entire program for years. So being a survivor yourself and dealing with this for so many years, you've probably seen just about everything.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you can probably help guide people too. Like, if like I just need to know where to start. They can
Mhm.
call you and that's where you start. You just
Yeah.
schedule that phone call.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's, what's great about this too is that it's not something where you're going to have to wait weeks and months to talk to me.
Yes.
Like life does not happen on a schedule. And,
Right. Especially healing.
so, my phone number, I also it accepts text messages. So people, the phone number that's on my website, you can call me or text me or email me, and I'm going to respond to that. And if something's happening that day, I will try to talk to you that day. But it's
Hmm.
not going to be like weeks and weeks because again,
Yeah.
for me, like if something happens to me and I have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks, probably by the time I get to that point, something new has already happened to me and I'm on to the next thing, right?
Yeah. I know.
I
Well, and everyone's so busy with
yeah.
being, a daughter,
Yeah.
a parent, a spouse, an employer, it's just everybody's so busy. So they just need to get things scheduled quickly with
Yeah.
everybody's busy lives, which is nice to
Yeah.
know. And I know
Hmm.
you have a lot of, I know we're coming on our time, but I know you have a lot of tools too on your website that people can look into and maybe kind of just feel out if this is, this listening lounge would be something
Yeah.
for them. And so go to Erin's website because and it's just it's seacoastlisteninglounge.com, correct?
Yep. That's right. Yep.
And it's winter, so you'll remember her name, Erin Snow. A lot of people are getting snow right now, so you
Oh
can
my gosh. Yeah,
and
definitely.
I will include all of this. And I know that we were talking about this before. We struggle every day.
Hmm.
Every day something you can get triggered or something new can come up. I just want everybody to not beat themselves up and know that's normal. And
Hmm.
there's people out there like Erin, that understands and can help. It doesn't matter where you live, like whatever you're going through, there's people that can help you. And just to be a sound, like you said, just to be a sounding board, or if you need another level of expertise, you can refer them for that.
Yep. Yep.
So, and just to be thinking about that is super brave. And I just want people to give themselves credit for that. Because
Absolutely.
it's, I say like healing isn't for the weak at heart. I say that
Hmm.
all the time, and I probably say it too much on the show, but it's true because it takes a lot of guts and strength but healing is, it's different for everyone. So just, do what you need to do for you because you deserve to live in a peaceful life.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Any last minute before we hang up?
No, I think you said everything. Yeah, you just be unapologetically you and go at your own pace and what works for you. You're the only one that knows what you need. And then when you know what you need, and even if you don't, you're like, I'm trying to figure it out, reach out to people. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm here.
I love that you said that. It's okay if you don't know, because
It's okay.
starting the talk about it is like that's where I was saying it'll come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yep.
well, this is amazing. You are officially part of the Trauma Rockstar family. Thank you.
Thank you.
I loved having you on. Sorry about the little technical
Oh,
issues
no.
we had earlier, but thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
you know, hold on, I'm just going to sign off really quick. Stop recording.